Mayamo, Shawn, Cynthius. Y'all ready to get saturated? I'm already there. I'm soaking wet. So, I heard they got a fourth one coming out in son of a bitch. They have a fourth one coming out in 2018, and it's called Team Effort, but I would prefer it be called Submerged. You know, we had a Saturation trilogy. Let's get a Submerged trilogy. Let's just have one. Why not? You know? Saturate me, then submerge me. I'm scared. BrockHampton is that drink of ice cold water you get after working really hard on a summer day. They're the casket that your grandmother kindly gets in when she's too old. Seriously, all respect to BrockHampton for being one of the most consistent rap groups of 2017, putting out some really just not only experimental but great music, transforming and going above and beyond the Call of Duty. They are just as I described Miguel, which is you know, they do more than what's required of the average hip-hop rap group. My dick has been hard. My kids are in my pants right now. Like, they're leaking out of me as we have this conversation. So before I waste any more good sperm cells, let's go ahead and hop into this album and see what the third Saturation has to offer us. Someone actually told me on Twitter too, by the way, that I should listen to the last track and then listen to Heat. So once we get to the last track, I'll take that person's advice, we'll listen to it and see what they're trying to say. Saturation 3, Leaky Faucet, Shawn C. First track is Boogie. Real ass bitch. What? Come get what? Help me! Alright, that was the track first track. It's like an ambulance and a police siren. The trucks in the car are literally in their house while they're recording it. And that chorus is just it's so uplifting and so sad at the same time. I've been shot down my whole life. It's like I'm a party regardless. Even though these people are trying to bring me down, I'm still gonna go up anyway. Track number 2 is Zipper. I'm maniacal, but what do I know? I don't know. What happened? Yo, let me get a feature. Are the police all over this album? No. Stop! Just take all my money, okay? All right, this is a gift card, but look, it's not that kind of party. I think the police sirens, I think they helped some of these songs so much. They deliver this sense of urgency, this sense of energy. It's like they all understand. It's like they're all being chased and trying to say that we're trying to live life at the same time. There are certain things that the mind is supposed to picture when you hear certain sounds, and the first thing I think of when I hear police siren is somebody fucking running, either from them or to them, or there's some sense of danger or urgency in the room. There being so many active members of the group, of course there's never an issue with me listening to them because there always is a different flow. I'm happy right now. I'm happy. Track number 3 is Johnny. I like curly fries, that's a metaphor for my life, and I like taller guys. Could've got a deal of the plans, could've took the time out to find you, but you ain't understand, you don't gotta leave for them to define you, cause what all of them, they said I got the wrong number. Problem with me, try some other guy. I let you know I'm a dog, I eat the catalog, but really though, I'm alone, cause I don't stick around, and yes, I know it's my fault. It's the one for the young, yeah, don't like you laugh. I love it when the people go wild from it. Yo, this, what am I supposed to say? I love it when the people go wild from it. I just want a space with my own best friend. Lock me in your cellular and look into you. And it still can't get ahead. Been at a loss for words. It seems I'm destined to fall apart when I'm depressed. And that's like all the time. Try not to mind the clock. Just want my own apartment. I just want a space with my this hook. Love the track. I love that track. I think I like it so much because there are so many different perspectives that are being spoken from. Personally, enjoy BrockHampton a little bit more because they have this this ability to speak from so many different perspectives. I think having this many members is, you know, of course, in some instances it can be a detriment, but in other instances it can be such a highlight, like being able to speak as far as their experiences are concerned. Kevin basically saying that, you know, he could have been working at McDonald's and he and his mother don't talk and he likes taller guys. We have perspectives where there's people talking about having a little hurt in their heart in regards to God, going through life, and I think this being so many different perspectives, this is what could bring so many different people together to enjoy this kind of music, is because it doesn't just come from one perspective. It's not just trying to force a narrative, it's not trying to force one idea, it's just a together album. I think the idea in saturation isn't just they're saturating the market and they're saturating the rap game. I think another idea is when you take a sponge, when you saturate something and you go to absorb it, there's no discrimination in the liquid that it picks up. You know, when you take a sponge to the floor and there's water everywhere, the sponge doesn't just grab the water, it grabs the particles, it grabs the germs, it grabs everything, the dirt. I think that's what BrockHampton with saturation has done. They've been able to saturate the market and then absorb people who are attracted to multiple different things within the genre that they're in. You know, you look at the BrockHampton fan base, you don't just see one demographic. They've absorbed so many different kinds of people that like to listen to music, you know, and I think that's a bigger idea to me of what saturation might be, is that they've absorbed so many different audiences, and look how many different people are listening to their music now. That song is kind of what pushed forward that idea to me. But let's go on to the next track, Liquid. Amir's interlude again.
Ramen noodles, victims of mental illness, products and neighborhoods will be paid. Shit's already boring. Listen to the money like a hyphen. Fuck a pipe dream, man.
Why is this track a minute long? Why you gotta make that? Why you gotta tease? That track was a minute. It felt like a complete song too, even though it was a minute and what, less than a minute and a half. Track number 5, Cinema 1. These little interludes with Roberto always have some like really beautiful music in the background. Just pointing that out. But since I don't really know what he's saying, again, I'm leaving this up to the BrockHampton fan base to kind of discover this underlying meaning. I'm just here to, you know, try to get the most I can out of the music aspect of it and what they have to deliver lyrically. But of course, the minute people figure out what this whole Roberto situation means, I'm definitely open to hearing what it means. I have my own theories, but you know, let's move on to track number 6 called Stupid. Oh God, can you chill out? I don't have life insurance yet. I ain't lost it this whole time. That's I mean, what? Oh! This hook is infectious.
Favorite, I do my best and they hate it. It's like I'm stuck in the matrix and I'm stuck with some patience. But I'm a faggot, I say it. I scream that shit like I mean it. Yeah,
this is just the most.
Boys be on that silly shit.
Does anybody else notice how these tracks just flow? I haven't looked at the time in any of these tracks and they all seem to just flow, do what they're supposed to do, and then get out. None of them seem to drag out. None of them seem to go on for longer than they're supposed to. None of them seem to be stretched. It just gets the job done and it leaves and you're on to the next one. Let's go on to track number 7, which is Bleach. Why are you doing this?
Phone ringing, never outgoing. Homebody never outgoing. Put my doubts on. Wide out, keep body run.
What is this? I got the feeling.
Honestly, that's probably the right decision. Found false hope in all kind of places.
Amir. No, stop it.
I got a lot of demons and I've been sleeping with them.
Oh God, Jesus, can you stop? Give me an opportunity to breathe. Stop, don't. Seriously. Dude, seriously, calm down. This is fucking retarded. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? Matt and Dom's verse on this song are incredible, you know, and I think it's just a testament. My knee is still up here. Wow. I don't know what they've been doing, but I like it. What else is there to say? I like it. It appeals to so many different people, and the fact that it still all appeals to me while appealing to those different people, I like it. Track number 8, Alaska.
I made a couple $100, wasn't worth it even. I'm worth $100.
I'm gonna need Amir to stop coming in so unapologetically. Like, he just doesn't give you an opportunity to take in anything. He just like, bam, bitch. Bam, bam, bam.
Come and crucify me. I'm a long way from home, and this ain't Yellowstone. I bring the Grammy home. I bring the love to work. I need the day off. And it's made up. A young Zuckerberg. I wake up and make stuff. Niggas copy us. They really need to pay us.
Who was copying you, Kevin? Where? You're not doing it right. Nobody's acknowledging whoever's copying you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Love my niggas like white people love rap. We make this shit your pride.
That is one of the funniest lines of the year. Like white people love rap. That's funny. That's just funny. That's comedy. I'm serious. That's comedy. I'm not probably laughing to it as hard as I want to right now, but give me about a bottle and a half of Hennessy. Give me till like 11 p.m. tonight when I go out. I'm gonna be fucking crying to that line.
Keep your head high, smile when the trouble rumbling.
Holy shit. Leave me alone, please. I'm serious. Stop. I'm about to die.
Like bear sharing porridge, sour Goldilocks. Like Ozzy with no shandy.
We're into the next track already. Hottie. I really don't want to like this track. There's no reason for me not to, though. But I don't like it, but I don't have a reason to not like it. It's just not my sound. I don't like the sound, but it's still, there's nothing I can say that's done bad. You know, the production is still nice. The vocals are still nice. I just don't like it because it's not my vibe.
It's hard to arrow in deep water. You keep calling.
Yeah, see, I said it's still done well. It's still done well. Track number 10, Cinema 2. I'm just looking for one word I understand. There it is. I heard Casa. Track number 11, Sister/Nation.
I don't got no text in my denim, yeah. So much I lose myself. That's why I'm pure to some. Didn't help with the voices, they just grew louder and louder. Like all the people who just chatter and just guessing butts about the fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Always had the sick of my lyrics written. Lately selling dope, asking for forgiveness.
I don't know why I'm getting reminded of a little. Oh God, man!
Use the wishes and trying to get secret ingredients from us. I know that you do it cause you switch woman. Let's see for when you hit that detonator. Got you left me on the elevator. It's important. Fuck off of that slang shit. Fuck off of that networking.
Second half of that track was beautiful. They all explain what I would assume to be the issues with the nation, and I love the one verse where he's like, oh man, I wonder how it would be if I had no face, if I had no heart, if I had no skin. Unfortunately, this is the nation, this is the world we live in, where Amir is describing the issues that people have had with him being black, and I'm assuming other members are, you know, bringing up the issues that others have had with them being gay, not wanting to work because they never treated his parents well. So it's a cool track, man, it really is. And let's hop into the next track, track number 12, Rental. Oh man. Oh my God, man. Oh, fuck. This song, much like the others, it's just It's just too much. Oh man. Track number 13, Stains.
On a Greyhound bus, on the way to see this girl. Take a flight back just to keep my job. A long distance, but I grown.
Banger!
Massive chip is still in my shoulder. Ain't a day that I still been sober. The one that's trying to act like Lil Wayne. What the fuck is this shit, man?
Hey.
The reasons how I clicked before I fell down. I used to pick a mirror.
This is fucking great. They keep. Stains. I got stains in my pants now. Track number 14, Cinema 3. What is this? Last track, track 10. Whoa, track 15 is Team. Can you calm down? It's not that serious, bro. It's not that. It's not sexual. Oh, this is the one I'm supposed to play in the heat. My bad. I almost forgot.
25 lighters on the dresser. I had guilt trip on my back.
Damn.
I got a hard time. I gotta watch myself in handcuffs. Can't stand up. They throw me in the crowd and tell me, boy, I lose that smile. But see, I get fucking locked. I lose my fucking strength. I'm running out of sense. My life been feeling tense.
Alright, so let's go back and find Heat. Ah, it does play into that. Alright, I like it. Alright. BrockHampton, Saturation 3. I think this might be the healthiest mix from Saturation and Saturation 2, with just the right amount of hip-hop, just the right amount of experimentation. As I said before, it doesn't feel like there is necessarily a point in BrockHampton's existence. I don't feel as though they're trying to be a message, or what they are, at least with the Saturation series, is trying to absorb people who enjoy music from everywhere. You know, they're saturating the marketplace in hopes that we, the people who listen to it, as the sponges of the industry, as the sponges of the music community, I'm thinking that they hope that they get absorbed, that we absorb all of it without discrimination. That's why there are people from every demographic, I think, that can go into these bodies of work and listen to them and enjoy them. I think ending this album with Team, so you can go back to the first Saturation and replay the entire thing over again. I think one of the first things that needs to be commended about the group is their evolution, because with every project that's come out, it seems as though they've all changed subtly. I definitely can see the differences and the core changes within how they flow, how they rap. Joba, Amir, to Kevin Abstract, Dom. You can just tell that there has been a change, a significant one. And it's weird to think that although they all do carry traditional hip-hop music, or they carry the spirit of rap music, every single Saturation sounds totally different from the one before it. Ending in a similarly structured way, even the final track, Team, ends differently. It's like we have Bear going hard again for the ending to the album, and then it switches completely, and we get this hard verse from Kevin, from Amir. One of the most experimental, in my opinion, songs on this project is the Sister/Nation track that in the beginning actually reminded me a lot of what Death Grips is capable of. And it's even funnier that I think I'm wrong on the person I'm stating here, but I don't know if it's Ian or not, being the one who's talking about being on pills perfectly suits the discombobulated, all over the place nature that the track already holds, which to me is why it makes so much sense to be strongly influenced by Death Grips. If anyone tries to make a correlation of you being a fan of Lil Pump because you're not a fan of someone like, say, Eminem, tell them you're a fan of BrockHampton so they can look stupid. I think the fact that some of these songs manage to maintain their structure even after they have an incredible shift or a change is incredible to me. And the one track Hottie on here that I'm not really fond of, it's not done to any less quality than any of the other tracks on this body of work. I just don't enjoy it. It's just not my speed, but the quality and the effort it took to make the track is still easily seen. The first 3 tracks are a complete roller coaster. Then we get an interlude from basically the entire group. Their sound slightly shifts every single time after Roberto comes in. They're not trying to deliver this conceptual album. They're literally talking about their experiences in their position, how they got there, you know, having the backing and the support now where they feel like they can make an album like this, knowing that you're gonna have people that are gonna enjoy it regardless, you know. That's why there are some lines on here where it's like, forget the critics, man, forget what some people think. They're a lot more confident now, and to me, I think that's a clear sign of how far they've come in such a short time frame. There isn't a group that's been this strong this consistently. It's one thing to have like one good album and then you come out 2 years later with a new sound, but this is within 6 months. From June 25th to December 15th, 3 albums, all great. Johnny might be one of my favorite tracks simply because it's like a jazz rap anthem, and it's like their delivery is a little somber too to match up with the sax in the background. This is probably their most experimental out of the Saturation series, so heavy credit to the producers, but not only to the producers but to each member for complimenting the tracks, even though they're experimental, even though they're off the wall, even though they're not 100% traditional. Even though they're not traditional, they still carry the spirit. They still have that hip hop, that rap vibe. And the ones that don't have what they represent themselves as which is a boy band, they really do carry the spirit of a hip hop group and a boy band in one body. BrockHampton with Saturation 3 is the perfect example of consistency meeting drive. Consistency in the fact that they acknowledge they have to be as good as Saturation 1 and Saturation 2, but drive in the sense that they have to take it to the next level. Now, whether that's enjoyable to every person, you know, I don't think they're making it for that reason. I think it's just to say we took it to a different stage. We aren't the same as Saturation 2, we're not the same as Saturation 1, and we're certainly not competing with anybody who thinks that they're in our lane. Consistency meeting drive. They're an example of curiosity meeting intelligence. They're curious and wanting to figure out how they're going to sound over these instruments and how they're going to sound over this production, but they're intelligent enough to know where they fit within these weird and wanky instrumentals from time to time. It's a perfect example of camaraderie meeting intention. Their group is a group of a bunch of people that, you know, maybe wouldn't be together in a space had they not met the way they did. And the intention behind that is to bring, I would assume, their fan base together in the exact same way, so that more than one person and one core demographic can be listening to BrockHampton at a time. I think they embody a healthy balance of what the human condition is, which is you have times in your life when you're not feeling the best, you have times where you want to express your emotions, and you have times where you just want to say fuck you to everybody. They express those ideas and those ways of thinking in this body of work and in all the Saturations so far. They're not trying to be represented as just one thing. They're trying to represent what it means to just be a person. To me, there are some tracks on this body of work that could have been, you know, played with a little bit more. For instance, I could see people thinking that the group might not have as much depth to them, them not having any concept, them appearing to have made this album just to express themselves and have fun. Makes it harder for one member to carry one idea specifically. So when you are listening to a body of work or you are listening to a specific song, they have their experiences tied into the same track that can sometimes take you out of the idea of what a song might be. That could be an issue for some people. You know, most of these songs don't have one idea because there's so many different people that are on these tracks. You don't really have an opportunity to just go with one way of thinking. So it takes your attention away from this person, it brings you into a different perspective. It takes you out of this perspective and brings you into another perspective. It's cool seeing this many different people come together on a track, but I think one of the bigger issues may be trying to enjoy the listening experience and continue to relate to the person that's rapping whatever it is that you wanted to hear them rap without having that one-on-one experience interrupted. For some people, that might be a bad thing. It can make some people feel like they're listening to the same track just on a different instrumental on a good portion of this album. While I love the fact that they play so much with their vocals and they play so much with their flow and their patterns on this project, these songs not having one core concept make each song, in my opinion, very familiar. Sure, you don't know how each one of them are going to come onto the track, and sure, you don't know how they're going to tackle instrumental, but for the most part, in terms of subject matter and what you're going to hear as far as content within the song, for the most part, you can assume what it's going to be based off what you heard before. Each member of the group is similarly self-deprecating, and I'm assuming giving themselves titles and descriptions and being comfortable living within those lanes. I have to give them credit, even though I think they can take you out of each other's element. I think the way they flow into each other's verse and the way they transition is beautiful, and it's barely even noticeable. But when they do, it's just, you know, the subject matter or the direction of what the person before may have been saying might get shifted slightly. I like that they are consistent in the sense that these songs do experiment heavily, but each song still maintains its own structure. They're more balanced as a team, in my opinion. Like they're not as clumsily put together as they were on Saturation, in my opinion. They seem to know what makes each other sound better. They seem to know how to complement each other on the tracks better. They go in as a group, as you know, as a team, as opposed to one going harder than the one before. They seem to all have that same level of intensity, and they're not trying so hard to be a part of a song. They're going with what works best. All in all, Saturation 3 was a very enjoyable listening experience for myself, and I'm definitely going to keep listening to it over the weekend, and obviously consider it for, you know, my lists for this year. BrockHampton, Sat 3. It's been Shawn C. Thank you for watching. Definitely an enjoyable project and very, very enjoyable body of work. Appreciate you guys for coming through. I'll see you next time, and I'm out. Eminem is going to be coming a little later, a couple hours, so I'll see you then. Peace.